What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with a brand new review for Sistas. You guys, I think about what y'all was reviewing. This is Sistas Season 6, Episode 21. Is the finale next week, you guys? Because I know that Season 7 of Sistas premieres on January the 3rd, and I saw the promo picture for Sistas. Cameron finally got a little bit of a baby bump. Still don't care. I want that baby bump to be pronounced by this point, right? Andy is wearing, she's got rid of the faux locks, so we gonna see a different Andy this season. Tyler, you really trying to get me to stick around, ain't you? I know. You like, yeah, I gotta keep these people around, so we'll see what season 7 gives you guys, but this episode is titled Lose to Win, you guys, and it was a decent episode. I enjoyed it, but before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You guys can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on your post notifications. And with that out of the way, without further ado, we'll discuss Sistas, you guys. Now, let me give you guys a little bit of a timeline of how we're going to be doing these reviews. So I'm going to be a little bit behind just for today. So you guys will get all the Wednesday shows with the exception of Married at First Sight. I do get off work early tomorrow. I get off at noon, so we will go live at 12:30, 1 o'clock tomorrow to discuss Married at First Sight, and that'll be that. But this episode, we opened up where I think we ended last week with Gary and Hayden. I saw some people last week on Twitter was like, Andy must have told Gary, Andy is pillow talking with Gary. I'm like, y'all, I don't think that this was Andy. Andy's met Madam. Andy was terrified of Madam. So I don't necessarily believe that Andy is, and he said he had a PI. Look into this. Andy is not a private investigator. Andy is a divorce attorney, but neither here nor there. So Hayden is pissed off with Gary because he's thinking that Gary is just doing this to basically get him away from Tamara. So Hayden is telling Gary, like, I don't believe you. Like, you telling me that Fatima did this to me? Like, I don't believe this shit. And Gary says, yes, she did it. Like, she knows Fatima. She works for Fatima's cousin. And Hayden was like, if they did this, they done unleashed the beast or something like that. I'm like, Hayden, sit your little goofy ass down somewhere, nigga. Nobody is afraid of you. Do you remember that you got your ass beat up and was naked on Fatima's car? Yeah, Hayden, shut the fuck up, right? So Hayden also told Gary, like, you just doing this because, your life is fucked up. I was like, well, two things can be true. Gary's life is fucked up, but, Gary ain't doing this because of that. Honestly, I don't think Gary is looking out for Hayden. I do believe it is a little bit of jealousy and envy where that comes in. He sees Hayden so happy. His life is, in turmoil, but Gary's life is in turmoil because of Gary. So Hayden told Gary, like, you got to find a new attorney. So Gary left and Hayden went back inside with Tamara. He asked Tamara, like, so do you know Fatima? She was like, I don't know Fatima. He was like, yes or no, do you know Fatima? She was like, I don't. Oh, Fatima, the one that works at your office. So you do know her? No, I just know her from your office. So he told her that Gary looked into this. She says, Gary's not your friend. So he then tried to get her to sign those annulment papers, and the real Tamara came out. She's like, nigga, I ain't signing them fucking annulment papers. She said, you might be a lawyer, but I know lawyers too, and I done F them pretty good. I was like, ooh. So she said, yeah, I did all this shit on purpose, and again, I don't know who Fatima is. So what you gonna do is go to work, make that money for us. I was like, yeah. I was like, come on, Tamara. I may not like you and your bad acting, but you did that shit. Loved it. Let's pause here and move forward, you guys. Next up, Sabrina. So we see Sabrina. So Sabrina is meeting up with, I forget what the woman's name is, the woman from down at the bank, right? So it would be a no for me because there would be no way that I would want to go back and work for this bank after I've been working for them for years and y'all accuse me of robbing this bank. And then the woman even told her when she tried to talk to the people at the bank about getting, Sabrina her job back, they initially said no, and I was like, but she's been vindicated. And she's like, but then I talked to him and they came around to it. Nah, man, no, ma'am, they cannot come around to it. Like, I did not do this. Somebody set me up. What are you talking about? So they gave Sabrina her job back, but she's not going back to the same location as she was previously at. Sabrina's going to be going downtown, and she's going to be taking a demotion. She's going to be the assistant manager. I was like, ooh, girl, I'm going to take that because that means less money. Nah, bitch, you're going to give me my job back with more money. No, 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 no. Sabrina was just happy to get her job back, but no, 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 no. Sis, run me my coins, or else I'm going to sue you guys for wrongful termination because I never had anything to do with that. The DA dropped the charges because they pressed charges against the right person who robbed the bank. So then she asked them about, are they bringing Maurice back? And the lady said, no, we're not going to be bringing Maurice back. And she was like, why? So the reason that they don't want to bring Maurice back is because he knew Q and he had Q in his home. And I was like, what does 1 + 1 = 3 have to do with y'all? Because just because he knew Q, just because Q was in his house, that the charges were dropped against them. So he had nothing to do with that. He did not set that up. He did not orchestrate that. So what are y'all talking about? But then she also said that he had a lot of complaints against him. I was like, okay, he had a lot of complaints against him, but did y'all ever write Maurice up? If you never wrote Maurice up, you didn't have grounds for dismissal. And at this point, I would be suing for wrongful termination. Now, we move over to Zach and Fatima. So they're at the law office, and they're waiting for the attorney. And Zach is a little antsy. He's a little on edge. So the attorney does come in, and they ask him, like, so what happened? And he told them that at this point, it's not looking, it's a flat out, no, they're not doing anything. And Zach was like, is it because they don't have, they have nothing from DPS, right? They have nothing from CPS, Child Protective Services, child welfare, whatever you want to call it, right? They have nothing from them. So they were like, what about the neighbor? He was like, they don't want to hear anything from her. And I was like, but the neighbor lives across the hall from them. She called the cops like on her for domestic abuse. So why wouldn't the courts want to listen to that? I'm kind of confused. I know why it would be hearsay unless the woman had it recorded. Then I get it. So yeah, saying it out loud, I do get why they say no, hearsay. They can't. That's inadmissible in court. But the attorney said, he's gonna do what he can to, get that little boy Michael with Zach. And you guys, I really still don't believe that Michael is Zach's son. I truly don't believe that. I don't. I want you guys to tell me what you think because I don't believe it, but leave it in the comment section, you guys. We'll pause here and we'll move forward. Now, Karen made it down to to this place safely with this weird ass contractor, aka Jason Weaver. So once again, he's telling her that the price of this place is what her rent is, and I was like, how is that? Because you're asking her to buy this place. Karen pays a monthly rent. So how is her buying this place the same as her monthly rent? Because I can't imagine that the rent in that it's got to be no more than probably, let's see, that's a commercial property. So that rent has to be at least, well, shit, I don't know, because hell, Karen ain't got fucking insurance. So it's got to be dirt cheap because, again, Karen ain't got insurance, so it can't be that expensive, so never mind. But whatever her rent is, I can't imagine that it's the same price like 1 month. Like, how is she going to buy this? Neither, but I don't know. I was confused by that. So once again, he's telling her he knows the person who this belongs to, and he can get her up and running in about 4 months. And I was like, Karen, but isn't that the same amount of time? Isn't that the same amount of time or just a slightly less than what he can do for your shop that's burned to a crisp? Not really a crisp, but maybe I'm missing some things. But I will say, though, something is off with him. And then he told Karen how she reminds him of his mother. And I was like, sir, what? Okay, very odd. And then, he was asking her about the father of her baby. And he was telling her that, if she needs, she can lean on him and his wife. Sir, she doesn't know you. There is something off about him. I can't put my finger on it. Really can't put my finger on it. So he asked her at one point, does she know a realtor? She says yes. So she left out, and Zach was on the phone with Fatima, and Karen called him asking him for, the woman that got him his house. Ma'am, there's a difference between a commercial realtor and it's the difference between commercial and, single family homes and all that kind of stuff. But hey, maybe she does both. I don't know. Zach was reluctant to answer the phone, but Fatima said, answer the phone. Karen's been pretty nice lately, so let's stay on her good side, so to speak, right? So he answered the phone and she asked for Valerie's number. He said he'll give it to her, and that was that. Next up, we see Sabrina. So Sabrina went over to Maurice's place to let him know that, hey, I got my job back. And it's like, well, that's good news. You come over looking like it's bad news. And she was like, hell, it is bad news because, nigga, you ain't got your job. They don't want to bring you back. And Maurice was like, wait a minute, why don't they want to bring me back? And she was like, because you knew Q and Q was in your home. And Maurice said what I said, that's my personal business. That has nothing to do with them, correct? Then she talked about the complaints. And he was like, well, he's gonna get an attorney and file for, wrongful termination, which he absolutely should. Because if it's not documented, if the complaints were not documented and he was written up for it, then y'all literally fired him for no fucking reason. It's because he knew someone who's a criminal. Nah, we ain't finna play that game. But yeah, he said he's gonna file a suit against them, and I don't blame them. I don't blame him at all. Let's pause here, you guys, and wrap up the episode. All right, you guys. You guys remember Andy and Jordan, right? So Jordan at one point, he went to the office to pick up, Andy. I missed the whole entire scene, you guys. My bad. I missed the scene. Now, let's go back real quick, because at one point, Hayden got to the office, right? This is after Zach and Fatima talked to their attorney. Hayden came in going off on Fatima, asking her, saying, you set this shit up, didn't you? Y'all basically saying y'all all hell about to break loose. Once again, Hayden, no one is afraid of you, sir. Fatima and I already had a gang of niggas beat you up. So pipe down, little man. Like, calm it down. Calm it down. So Zach, Andy came out and was like, what's going on? And said, Hayden, you're being a troll, aren't you? And so they told Hayden, like, shoo fly, right? And so they told Zach to leave. And then Jordan came in to get Andy. She completely forgot about lunch. They went to like what looked like a little hole in the wall restaurant. And so they were talking about a dinner date. He thanks her for last night because he knows that it was, that was truly hard. But he does say that his sister Penelope still wants to talk to her. She has questions. He's like, she's an analyst, so she wants to piece things together like dates and times. Ma'am, they spelled it out for you. Like, Danny spelled that shit out for you. Did you not know about like the question that I'm having is, did Penelope not know about Jasmine? Did she not know that her fiance was once married to another woman? And Andy, people been bringing this up and I completely forgot about it. Leslie warned you. Leslie and her Leslie and that terrible ass wig that she had. Leslie did warn you. So all this has happened to Andy. Do I feel bad for her? Not really, because like I said, Leslie and her terrible haircut, she tried to warn Andy. Andy didn't want to listen to her. So do I feel bad for Andy? Again, like I said, absolutely the fuck not, right? Next up, we got Danny. Danny. Y'all know Danny, if I had to pick any of the sisters that I go up for, I like them, it would be Danny. But there are times when it comes to Danny that she does really infuriate me. She gets on my nerves and she pisses me off. And this is one of those times, right? So Danny is Danny is down there at the airport, right? Tony comes up and somehow they talked about work. She was talking about she worries about the airport, not having a job, basically. He told her to come work with her, and she was like, that would be a conflict of interest, right? And he was like, what's the conflict? She said, you would be the conflict. And I was like, oh, God. The thing that's blowing me with Danny is, he asked her to go out on a date, And Danny is considering going on a date with this man. And I'm like, Danny, you don't know him, number one. Number two, you just broke up with Preston, right? Number three, you don't like what Preston said. I know you felt the way about it. He didn't call you a whore, but you do at this point, Danny. I know it's probably got to be low self-esteem because you literally do go from dude to dude to dude. And I'm not talking about sleep-wise. I'm just talking about you don't give yourself any time. Like John Moody, that dude that whatever his name was, I forgot what his name was, the one that beat her, Preston, Jonah, Preston, John Moody's character, Tony, and it was another guy, the trafficking cop that as Misha calls him. What was his name? The cop. Like, you talked to 5 different men. So I don't know what to say when it comes to Danny. I really truly don't, you guys. But she also got a message. So Sabrina called her to give her the good and bad news. While they were on the phone, Danny got a message that, guess what? Preston's gotten married. I was like, I know you fucking lying. So Preston went on ahead and Mindy is a dumbass. Because I know that's who it is. If he went and married Mindy girl, you stupid. This man, never mind. Because there are some women out there that are like that. I don't know why anybody would want that. Be somebody's literally sloppy seconds. He never really wanted Mindy. He only wanted to use Mindy against Danny. Baby, it could not, would not, won't ever be me. But hey, tell me what you guys think. And the last scene of the episode was when, what's her name? The last scene of the episode was when, Andy got back to her office and Penelope was there. And then Gary came in. I was like, what the fuck? Why do we have this shit here? Okie doke. Okie dokie artichoke. Very odd. But that was the episode, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comments section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn your post notifications, and also share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe. Take care of yourselves, you guys. Wash your hands. Be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.